Hi, I'm back with another fascinating reading of the Lacerta files. This is the third section. She's being asked, you've said others near to your own name. Do you mean family? And she says, no, not really. You would call it family, but with this word, you mean only those of your kind which belong genetically together like father or mother or child. As I've said earlier, we have a very difficult and unique name. Part of the pronunciation of that name is absolutely unique, and there is no other being with the same name. But part of this name, the middle part, is pronounced in a way that told to the others what family, and I must use this word because you haven't the right one in your own vocabulary, what family you belong. This means that not all in the group that are genetically related to you, because these groups are usually very large and contain between 40 and 70 of us. This group includes generally your genetic relations, except one of them and had decided to leave this group, and your connection with father and mother is often the strongest. It would be too difficult for me to explain to you now our very old social system, which is very complex, and we would need many hours only for the primary things. Maybe we can meet another time and I can give you the detailed descriptions of all of these things. I wonder if that ever happened. Be interesting. And then he asks, have you a tail like normal reptiles? And she says, do you see one? No, we have no visible tail. If you look at our skeleton, there is only a small rounded bone at the end of our spine behind the pelvis. This is a useless rudiment of the tail of our ancestors, but it is not visible from the outside. Oh, our embryos have tails during the first months of development, but these tails disappear before they were born. A tail makes only sense for a primitive species which tries to walk on two legs and must hold the balance with the tail, but our skeleton had changed during evolution and our spine is nearly the same shape as yours, so we need no tail to stay on 2 feet. You said you were born in a different way to us. Do you lay eggs? Yes, but not like your birds with primitive reptiles. Actually, the embryo grows in a protein liquid inside the mother's womb, but there is also an egg-shaped but very thin chalk hull around it that fills the whole womb. The embryo inside this hull is completely autarky, which I believe means autonomous, from the mother's body, and it has every substance it needs to develop inside this chalk hull. There is also a cord like your navel cord, which is connected to a point hidden behind the back plates. When the baby is going to be born, the whole egg is pressed through the womb, covered in slimy protein substance, and the baby came out from this soft egg after some minutes. These two horns on our middle fingers were instinctively used from babies to break the chalk hull to take their first breath. Our young are not so large as yours when they were born. They are between 30 and 35 of your centimeters tall, and the egg is around 40 centimeters tall. This is because our womb is much smaller than a human one, but we grow to a normal size of 160 to 180 meters. I don't know, meters, so we'll have to look that up. If you know that, awesome. Okay. Next, what is your body temperature? You've said that you enjoy laying in the sun. What effect has this to your organism? And she says, we are no mammals, and as reptiles, our body temperature depends on the temperature of our surrounding. If you touch my hand, you will maybe feel that it is colder than yours, because our normal body temperature is around 30 to 33 degrees Celsius. If we sit in the sun, especially naked, and with our row of small back plates in the sun, our body temperature can raise for about 8 to 9 degrees within minutes. This rise causes a production of many enzymes and hormones in our body. Our heart and brain and every organ becomes more active, and we feel very, very good. Your humans only enjoy being in the sun, but for us, it is the greatest pleasure you can imagine, maybe like your sexual excitement. We also enjoy swimming in very warm water or other liquids to raise our body temperature, kind of probably like jacuzzis. If we are for some hours in the shade, our temperature goes back to 30 to 33 degrees. This can cause no harm to us, but we feel much better in the sun. We have artificial sunrooms in the underground, but this is not the same for us like the real sun. I can relate to that too. Okay, what do you eat? Generally various things like you: flesh, fruit, vegetables, special kinds of fungus from subterranean farms, and other things. Now, this is being translated from Swedish into English, so they made it flesh. I'm not sure if that means meat. It could just mean meat, but it is kind of weird that whoever translated this into English chose the word flesh, because that does sound like, I don't know, not so good. But even meat is, you know, some people don't eat meat, and that they think of that as flesh as well. So we can also eat and digest some substances which are poisonous for you. The main difference between you and us is that we must eat flesh because our body needs the proteins. We can't live completely vegetarian like your kind because our digestion would stop working and we would die after some weeks or maybe months without flesh. Many of us eat raw flesh or other things that which would be disgusting for you. Preferably, I prefer cooked flesh and surface fruits like apples or oranges. Interesting. Can you tell me something about the natural history and evolution of your species? How old is your species? Have you evolved from primitive reptiles as mankind has evolved from apes? Oh, this is a very long and complex story, and it sounds certainly unbelievable to you, but it's the truth, and I will try to explain it in short. Around 65 million years ago, many of our unadvanced ancestors from a dinosaur race died in a great global cataclysm. The reason for this destruction was not a natural disaster, an asteroid impact, as your scientists believe falsely, but a war between two enemy alien groups that took mainly place in the orbit and high atmosphere of your planet. According to our limited knowledge about the early days, this global war was from the first alien war on planet Earth, but it was definitely not the last. And a future war is coming soon, while a Cold War, as you call it, between alien groups is ongoing since the last 73 years of your planet. The opponents in the 65-million-year-old war were two advanced alien species whose both names are, again, not pronounceable for your tongues. I'm able to say them, but it would hurt your ear if I can tell you the names in their original way. Our race was humanoid like your species, but much older, and was from this universe, from a solar system in the star constellation you call Procyon today in your maps. Other species about which we not so much, was a reptilian species. They have nothing to do with our own species because we have evolved from local saurians without exterior influence, except the successful manipulation of our own genes by us. More about that later. The advanced reptilian species came not from this universe, but from how should I explain it to you? Your scientists definitely have not really understood the true nature of the universe, because your illogical mind is not able to see the easiest things and relies on wrong mathematics and numbers. This is part of the genetic programming of your kind, to which I will come later. Let me say that you are nearly as far away from the understanding of the universe as you were 500 years ago. To use a term you may be understand. The other species came not from this universe, but from another bubble in the foam of our omniverse. You would call it maybe another dimension, but this is not the right word to describe it correctly. By the way, the term dimension is generally wrong in the way you understand it. The fact that you should remember is the advanced species were able to walk between bubbles by use of, as you would call it, quantum technology, and sometimes in special ways only by use of their mind. My own species also had advanced mental abilities in comparison to your species, but we are not able to do the matter string bubble changing without technology. But other species active on this planet are able, and it looks to you like magic as it had to your ancestors. Back to our own history, the first species, the humanoids, had reached Earth around 150 years before the reptilians, and they built some colonies on the former continents. There's a lot more to this, so I'm going to have to do another segment on this before I run out of time. But it's really fascinating, and I mean, think what you want. I mean, let me know what you think. But it's Some of this seems really possible and plausible.